as possible. So clearly everybody, the feminist cabals, found our broadcast satellite and decided to bring us down via super mutant. So Calvin and Crazy and I did a quick jaunt out into the wasteland that is Tumblr and decided that we were going to put up new satellite dishes and try again. Or maybe that's just Fallout 3. Either way, we're back.
You were totally making fun of me talking about the clergy of feminism, and here we see you can't make fun of the clergy of feminism.
No, I really can't, because I'm basically comparing them to the dystopian future America in Fallout 3. So, darn. For those of you listening after the date, we did lose you all. That's okay. We're just going to finish up our broadcast, and you can go ahead and listen in at any time. We're kind of like Three Dog, except we're not on a super annoying continuous loop. So.
Nor are we repeating the same things over and 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 over. Ouch.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the second part of SJ's Gone Wild, Ablism of the Body, starts now. So, what do we have?
This is the doozy we talked about earlier.
Oh no, not the doozy. We're starting off strong.
ISIS released a new recruitment video featuring 2 deaf members delivering their message in sign language. So basically, ... ISIS does better on accessibility than a lot of universities. Good going. Asterisk, no news articles specify which sign language. Then people in the comments, can I share this? Go for it. I feel rather confused on how to feel about this. They're amazingly slick in their approaches. And 131 people liked this. Not counting green.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Told you it wasn't easy.
Oh my lord. This is so much stupid. I don't even know where to start.
Let's start by stating something obvious that clearly, yes, if there are a lot of universities, which I don't know if there are, who do not cater to their students who are deaf, and ISIS does, then ISIS has at least that up on them. But then let's remind everyone that this is ISIS, the people who behead and burn people alive for not following their religion. So the sign language thing is a bit of a moot point.
The sign language thing is probably another propaganda attempt. Also, most higher education places will gladly accommodate a deaf person and send them and have a personal interpreter sit with them in class. But they have to go through, disability services and the offices, It's not going to be given automatic because they have to, set up the interpreter. They have to pay the interpreter.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no one in your classroom who is deaf, you're not going to have an interpreter, and having an interpreter, I mean, I had a deaf person in one of my training classes when I was at Disney, and it's not like the interpreter is necessary if the person can read lips, and if the person can't read lips, then having an interpreter, they'll be sitting next to them and signing. It's not super difficult for you to miss somebody in a university class, but even if you could miss, which you couldn't, because if someone's moving their hands crazily, you'd notice it. But the point being is, this post is so dumb it's making me dumb. I can't even begin to dissect it right now.
So, I will try. First, what in the world is this person doing listening to ISIS recruitment videos?
Well, it looks like they saw it on a news article.
So the news is taking the time the news is taking time out of their day to report on what ISIS is doing in their campaign better than our universities.
I'm suspecting Gawker because they totally made an article talking about how cute the children in ISIS propaganda and recruitment videos are.
Oh, that's wonderful. My first instinct when I want to hear about the news of the world is to go to Gawker.
Well, I mean, they did have that informative post about the person who was dating a horse.
Right, and that
So-
changed my life. Like, that was so meaningful to me in my life. But no, like, who in the world is watching ISIS recruitment videos with the intention of discovering, like, are we really going to, like, consider, they do have a, like, they're beheading all these Christians and they're beheading all these gay people, right? But they do have deaf people. Maybe they have a point.
Yes. This is a super this is a super progressive post because it acknowledges that deaf people can be extremists too.
Oh my god. Oh my. You know what's even, like, so I was about to make a joke, like, the first thing that crossed my mind when you said that was like, well, they may have gone deaf because, they were near some mortar shells and now they can't hear, but they know how to speak sign language. So, is there really like someone out there in the world that goes, I'm wanting to join a militaristic movement of some type, and you know what? ISIS has got the they've got the sign language thing down, so maybe I should consider that one for my future career.
Oh my god.
So, and then
I only
American universities.
I only ascribe to extremism that will cater to my every disability.
I mean, my different options here were like I could go to Princeton, or I could, go on a work study in the Arctic, or I could join ISIS. I wonder which of these would be better for my future career. Oh my gosh. Wow, this was a doozy. Thank you, Gracie.
I thought you guys would like it.
God.
Yeah, but also, who says that those guys were deaf? They could have just happened to know sign language. They could be educated.
Right,
I love how Green is kind of like, I feel rather confused on how to feel about this. I'm with you, like, it's great, but there's a point where I'm no longer confused. When I remember it's ISIS who has beheaded men, has burned people alive, have killed people indiscriminately for their religion.
They do speak sign language.
Yeah, and they have a nicer camera than an iPhone. That doesn't mean I can't agree with you on that one, and I don't know how to feel about this. I know exactly how to feel about this. I am disgusted that there are people who are like, yeah, ISIS is doing a better job than university. No, they're not. They are not.
Are you really going to tell me that our small, like, which universities are we comparing ISIS to? Like, if you're gonna go the route of comparing ISIS to college university, then you should probably go the full route of trying to describe which universities you're using as context here, right? It's like what Crazy said. What are you talking about? Any university that has attending deaf people is going to utilize sign language. Come on.
Exactly.
In fact, they'll assign you won't they assign, like, if you're deaf, right? And you're attending a course, and the professor doesn't speak sign language. Don't they give you some like a translator?
Oftentimes, a translator will have gone to the school and is taking like American Sign Language as a master's degree, or they're studying to be a professional interpreter, because a lot of American schools have those programs.
So they assign a person to you for your coursework. The school's paying for somebody else to take time out of their day to come and follow you around the university so that you can have whatever's being said translated to you in sign language. I imagine that situation is far better than boot camp for ISIS.
I do want to point out that in general, universities are not trying to set you up to fail, because if you fail out, they don't get paid for the years you spent graduating. And they're certainly not trying to set up deaf people to fail, because, they're deaf people. They want to teach people things. So universities do not need to have a sign language person for every professor to be dealing with what's going on. They have ways of getting around it, even if they don't have sign language professionals on hand.
Honestly, the main reason why you don't see it in a lot of colleges and universities is mainly because there are entire colleges where the entire student body is deaf, where all the professors are deaf and teach in sign language. There are specialized schools that I believe the majority of deaf people go to. So that's why you don't come across it as often.
Because, to be perfectly frank, they have their own culture and their own way of doing things, and it's just easier for them. But if there's a person in Princeton, if there was a person in Johnson, and there was actually a deaf individual in my college, you cater to them because that's what they need, and if they ask for it, you're going to give it to them. So this concept that ISIS is somehow better than the majority of American universities is complete and utter bull, and she's being completely and utterly disingenuous in saying this. And I'm assuming it's a her because it sounds like a Tumblrina, but it might be a Tumblr John. So it could be a he as well. So equal opportunity gender
Oh,
here.
no, that's gender binary, and we're entering into a new age of gender fluidity.
I'm not even going to respond to that. Next.
Alright, the next will be the internet idiot.
Oy.
I have a good ending to this, so let's suffer through the internet idiot.
Alright, so here's screen share. Wow, that's a stupid comment. I am overweight by nearly 200 pounds. I am not proud of it, but I'm healthy. My skin is firm. I have terrific blood pressure, and everything. I actually am 80% muscle, which is more than I can say for your scrawny ass. Think before you say something stupid next time.
80%.
Wait. I have a theory who this person is. Hold on. Let me stop screen sharing for this and start screen sharing for another thing I have open. I think I know who this person is.
Okay.
Captain America, drawn by Rob Liefeld.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, life rails. Ah, get it off. Ah.
Okay, so internet idiot, whoever you are, just because you are 20% body fat, doesn't mean that you're 80% muscle. Let me repeat this so that we're all clear. Just because you have a BMI of 20%, your body mass index, your fat index, means that you're 20% fat. Doesn't mean that you're 80% muscle. There's no way that your body could be 80% muscle. Do you know why this is?
Because nobody's body is 80% muscle.
Because if for any given person, at least 10% of their mass is made up of their own skin. So let's puzzle this one out. Right? They're 80% muscle. 80% of their body is muscle. Where are all of their internal organs?
I'm sorry, I'm still cracking up at my Captain America drawn by Rob Liefeld joke.
Yes, this is exactly what this person would be. He would be Captain America drawn by Rob Liefeld. So, overweight by 200 pounds? So, I'm going to assume that this person is male. Should I do that? Do we have the source for this?
I do not have the source for this. I honestly found this on the R Fat Logic Reddit.
So, I'm going to assume the person is male because they're trying to say that they're 80% muscle, right? They're misspelling muscle. But they're 80% muscle. So I'm going to assume...
Sea muscle. The one that lives under the sea. The ocean muscle.
The average American body, like for an average height American, or anyone really, an average height male at 20 years old, or 18, 20, 16, 20, is 160 to 180 pounds. This person is telling the world that they're 360 to 380 pounds. There is no bodybuilder that weighs that much. There's not. You can't weigh the body reaches an upper limit of muscle, wherein if you were like, say, probably 10%, right? 10% BMI, 10% fat, right? Your body could only withstand to have about another, I want to say maybe 100 pounds, but that's pushing it. To say, healthily keep 100 pounds of muscle on your 100, on your physical male frame pushes you about 280, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this person is 380 pounds. There's no way that they're 80% muscle. This person doesn't understand anything about body or body image or body weight or health, right? Because these are statistical facts. This has been written to death. There are fitness magazines that are now referencing fitness magazines that have referenced fitness magazines for information. That's how incursive the research for health and body weight and body image have become. So the knowledge base is as solid as the facts of gravity, that the human body can only withstand so much fat. And for you to say that 80% of your fat cells is muscle is a self-denial that that makes me want to hurl.
Look, I'm pudgy.
Oof.
I'm a woman with curves, and you can ask Calvin because he's seen me in real life. I am curvy.
Do you weigh 360 pounds?
I don't.
I'm not. Yeah. So.
But what I'm saying is, I am under absolutely zero delusion that any of the fat that builds up in my front part of my body, that is my stomach area, that any of that is healthy for me, and I'm fighting to keep it down. You're not healthy when you're overweight by nearly 200 pounds. You're definitely...
You're not healthy when you're overweight by 50 pounds.
Yeah. So I'm trying to fight to get it down, and it's a struggle. But I'm not going to sit there and say that I'm 80% muscle.
I will just, like, I'm overweight. I'm not proud of it. The most I'm willing to say is muscle weight because of my job is probably about 10 pounds, considering how dense muscle is. However, that still leaves me about 20 pounds that shouldn't be there.
Oh, this one hurt my head.
Well, I'm about to make your head happy. This is a Tumblr post that I think actually, we've been talking a lot about, and we're going into fat acceptance next week and healthy at any weight.
I showed that one.
So I want to read you something about the human body that comes from Tumblr, and this actually reminds me of my old 4chan days, where there used to be like X or TG doing humans fuck yeah. So
I actually think I saw a similar post of this on 4chan.
Yeah, 4chan has a similar post, but this is showing that Tumblr's not all stupid. So if you would, Miss Dawn.
Well, I'm screen sharing it, but can someone else read it? Because the scroll thing in my picture viewer is kind of messed up. If I try to scroll down, it just gets bigger.
Okay. I've got it. It's funny how science fiction universes so often treat humans as boring, default, everyman species, or even the weakest and the dumbest. I want to see a sci-fi universe where we're actually considered one of the most tedious and terrifying species. How do we know our saliva and skin oils wouldn't be ultra-corrosive to most other sapient races? What if we actually have the strongest vocal cords and can paralyze or kill the inhabitants of the world just by screaming at them? What if most sentient life in the universe turns out to be vegetable-like and lives in fear of us rare animal races, who can move so quickly and chew shit up with our teeth? Like the old story, they're made of meat, only we're scarier. Holy shit, they eat castration for fun. You guys, I heard a human once ate an airplane. A human can keep fighting for hours even after you shoot it. Humans are a proud warrior race with a pantheon of bloody gods. Rambo, Schwarzenegger, except. Removing a limb will not fatally incapacitate humans, always destroy the head. Warning, humans can detect you even at night by tracing vibrations through the atmosphere. Warning, humans can produce a rate of one per space year, destroy infestations immediately. Human mouths have over 30 outcroppings of bone and powerful jaw muscles. Human bites can be fatally infectious even to other humans. Warnings, human can and will use improvised weapons. See classified data labeled L-Chan. J-Chan. Humans can project bioweapons from almost every orifice in their body. Do not inhale. Oh god, humans figured out how to use door handles. Oh god, oh god. More seriously though, humans do have a number of advantages even among terrestrial life. Our endurance, stock resistance, and ability to recover from injury is absurdly high compared to almost any other animal. We often use the phrase as healthy as a horse to connotate hardiness, but compared to humans, a horse is as fragile as spun glass. There's mounting evidence that our primitive ancestors would hunt large prey simply by following it at a walking pace, without sleep or rest until it died of exhaustion. It's called pursuit predation. Basically, we're the Terminator. The only other animal that can sort of keep up with us? Dogs. That's why we use them for hunting. And even then, it's only sort of. Now extrapolate that to a galaxy in which most sapient life did not evolve from hyper-specialized pursuit predators. Our strength and speed is nothing to write home about, but we don't need to overpower or outrun you. We just need to outlast you. And by any other species standards, we plain don't get tired. Where simple broken leg will cause most species to go into shock and die, we recover from virtually any injury that's not immediately fatal. Even traumatic dismemberment isn't necessarily a career-ending injury for a human. We heal from injuries with extreme rapidity, recovering in weeks from wounds that would take others months or years to heal. The results aren't pretty. Humans have hyperactive scar tissue, among other survival traits, but they're highly functional. Speaking of scarring, look at our medical science. We've developed surgery centuries before developing even the most rudimentary anesthetics or life support. In extremis, humans have been known to perform surgery on themselves and survive. Thanks to our extreme hardiness, we regard routine medical procedures most other species would regard as inventive forms of murder. We even perform radical surgeries on ourselves for purely cosmetic reasons. In essence, we'd be space orcs. Our jaws would have too many teeth in them, so we developed a way to wield metal to our teeth and form the bones back into our jaw. We form cohabitive relationships with tiny mammals and insects that we keep at bay from bothering us by death, often using little analog traps. And by God, we'd eat anything. We'd use borderline toxic peppers to season our food. We expose ourselves to potentially lethal solar radiation in the pursuit of darkening our skin. We risk hearing loss for the opportunity to see our favorite musician live. We have a game where two people get into an enclosed area and hit each other until the time runs out or one of them passes out. We willingly jump out of planes using only a flimsy piece of cloth. We respond to natural disasters by just rebuilding our buildings in the exact same place. We climb mountains and risk freezing to death for bragging rights. We invented dogs. We took our one-time predator and completely domesticated them. On a planet full of lions, tigers, and bears, we managed to advance further, farther, and faster than any other species. It's one thing to face down a cheetah who will slam in you at 60 miles per hour and break your neck. It's another thing to run very quickly to get away from a thing, only to have it just kind of show up. To have it be intelligent enough to figure out where you are by the fur and the feather you've left behind in your footprints and your piss and shit. And then you think you've lost it and you bed down for the night. But there it is, waiting when you wake up, and you split again. But it keeps following you, always in the corner. We are scary. We are. And we're one of the most amazing things this world has. And that's why when somebody says to me that ableism is a reason to just lie down and curl up and take care of these people and pamper them, that's what makes me so angry. Because not only are we at our healthiest, the most amazing species on Earth, but rather when we are disabled, we adapt. Somebody loses an arm, we adapt. We learn how to use the stuff. We build a whole new one if we have to. when somebody has a degenerative disease that locks their mind inside their bodies to the point where they cannot tell the secrets of the universe, we create something that responds to the twitches of his fingers so he can talk.
Yeah.
Wheelchairs because people can't walk. We have done so many things for these people, and to tell them that they can't do something, that they can't learn to go beyond what you think is a non-ability is ridiculous.
We have wheelchairs for fucking off-roading.
Indeed. So I want to tell everyone listening to me today that, disabilities are hard, and they put a lot of challenges in your way. But I know that you and anyone else who's in that position, and even if you're not disabled, even if you're just in a tough spot, you're going to make it. Because humans are the space orcs. We are awesome. And don't you forget it. So until 2 weeks from now, when we take on fat acceptance, and...
Are we going to skip my section again?
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Mark actually has something.
Sorry.
Calvin actually has something, so we're going to go ahead and let him finish out, but on my end, until 2 weeks from now, that's all I've got to say. Go.
All right, so I don't have a beautiful image for me to throw up on the screen. I'm not going to waste anybody's time here by going over long. But social justice warriors have a relationship with the concepts of ableism as a prejudicial idea. Just as much as they have a relationship with racism as an idea. The first social justice warrior, who you could really connotize by using the modern-day definition, was named Margaret Sanger. And most people would understand her to be the mother of feminism. She's not the mother of feminism, but that's who they look to, and that's who they espouse to be. The third wave feminists espouse to be the mother of feminism. She was a euthanagist, and she was the woman who started the Planned Parenthood. She took her ideas of eugenics, took the ideas of eugenics as they were being proposed to the United States, and she ran with them. She believed that if you lied enough to inner city America, that you could convince inner city Americans, all these black and other undesirables, you could convince them that they shouldn't reproduce because their reproduction would be harmful to the American race. Her belief about disabled people was that they were they consumed more resources than they should ever be allowed to, and she believed that them consuming resources would put others in jeopardy, especially as we get headed towards the depths of the Roaring '20s, right? There's that horrible time in America when everybody was wanting for naught and had as much food as they could possibly imagine. This woman was insane. She believed that anyone with any amount of disability should be sterilized involuntarily. That the sterilization process should happen in the hospital when they're being treated for whatever disability that they have, because she believed that the mere possibility for a person to develop a disability later in life proved that there was something genetic within their family history that might prompt that same disability to appear again. She did countless hours of research to try to prove this theory. And so when we use words like problematic and ableism, both of these terms come from Margaret Sanger. She coined them. She coined the term problematic to denote anybody who was undesirable. They were problematic to her society and its future. So when she looked at somebody who was disabled, she saw somebody who was in so much pain and so much hurt that there was no way in her mind that she could possibly. Am I showing everything on my screen to everybody right now?
No.
Okay.
I'm presenting currently, yes.
So where does Margaret Sanger intersect with modern day social justice warriors? Well, the truth is that she is regarded by them as the mother of Planned Parenthood, and reproductive rights were first coined by Margaret Sanger. She believed that every American woman should have free access to abortion. Now, whether or not whatever side of abortion you fall on, you do have to accept that Margaret Sanger is the poster child for people who are advocating reproductive rights. Now, she was not just proposing reproductive rights as a measure for female liberation. She was in fact proposing it as a case scenario to further propose the idea of eugenics. If she could position eugenics under the mindset that it was somehow freedom and liberty to these underclassed people, then they would readily accept it. After all, if you tell somebody, look, you can sterilize yourself and your future generations by accepting abortion because it's freeing to you, they're more likely to do it. And so you can have as much rampant sex as you want, and you're never going to have to worry about it. And it certainly would be terrible if you actually get pregnant, considering your economic class, you dirty black person, or you person with a disability. You should just consider that you should have an abortion in this case, because the likelihood of your child surviving in this world is rather low. And you probably want to sterilize your child. And she would always follow up that statement with this, that you should probably also sterilize your children, because considering that you are from an undesirable classification of people, then you don't want your children to reproduce either. And so the connection between Margaret Sanger and SJWs is that they believe that using her as a female patriot, she's not, but using her as a female patriot to give a name to their wish for female liberation means that they also had to go through her works. And I can tell you for sure that they did go through her works. They did understand her writing, and her writing is filled with her comments on eugenics and her belief that the undesirables should not be allowed to reproduce. The quotations for them are numerous, and if I was presenting, I don't think I am, but if I was presenting, I would show them to you. It doesn't take much work to find them. They're going to tell you that she didn't say these things, that they never happened at all. She never uttered the word eugenics. Well, she's the poster child for a eugenicist, and they're completely whitewashing history. So what does that mean for their ideology? Well, it's simple. Their understanding for eugenics and their understanding for reproductive rights and their understanding for abortion is entirely based on Margaret Sanger's ideology. And Margaret Sanger's ideology was eugenics. So when they're telling a black person that it's okay that they pursue abortion because it's just their right, they're coming from the same contextual basis that Margaret Sanger is. Whether they want to admit that or not, I'm not sure, and I'm not going to say. It's not my place to put that on them. But you do have to wonder, if that many people have read Margaret Sanger's work and then try to deny that they ever did, and also try to deny that she ever said it, when it's clear as day and written in front of you, you can buy the book yourself, then what are they trying to hide? What motive do they really have? And what do they really think about ableism? And that's my topic.
Thank you, Mark. Mark's going to be doing this pretty much regularly. We're normally going to schedule him before I do the uplifting little bit, but he really does have a lot of great insight, because he's basically a history buff beyond the Civil War, like I am. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to remind you guys, humans are incredible. We are the space orcs. Not only do we fight when we're healthy, we fight even when we're disabled, and you guys need to remember that. So no matter who's going to pull you down this next 2 weeks, no matter what happens, remember, we're still sitting here. We're still waiting to hear from you. We still want to talk to you, and we still want to talk about how the world isn't as doom and gloom as everyone makes it out to be on Tumblr. So thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in, and as the picture on your screen should say, don't give a fuck. Walk through the streets in a burning spacesuit. Okay? Later.
Don't spill the spaghetti.
Bye, guys.
Bye.